In this video, we're looking at the possibility of a significant severe weather outbreak towards the middle of this week. The Storm Prediction Center has already put out a slight chance of severe weather on their Day 3 outlook, and some of the weather models are looking downright bonkers. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. The studio construction is still going on behind me. As you can see, we're still putting up lights. We got a lot of stuff scattered around in the floor, and I'm actually ready to tell you what this is for now. If you guys didn't know, I have a TikTok account with about 220,000 subscribers. I talk about the weather and like news and stuff over there too, so if you want to follow me, that'd be cool. But I needed a dedicated setup to film that and make it look right, and this is what it looks like now. I think it looks really good and way different than what anybody else is doing on those smaller platforms. I also created a new YouTube channel called Ryan Hall Shorts, where I may start posting short form content about the weather over there. So if you want to subscribe to that channel, there's a link in the description. But boy, me and Echo have been working hard to get this set up correctly. Echo, will you press record for me? Please. I gotta test out this new set. Echo, will you do anything? Echo. All right, so yeah, feel free to follow me on TikTok and all that stuff, but for now, let's start talking about the weather. All right, here's a big old look at the United States of America, and as you can see, compared to last week, without Tropical Storm Elsa and without our big southeast sliding storms on that ridge, we're actually looking pretty quiet out there. We do have a big boundary that stretches from Maine all the way through Toronto into Cleveland, Indianapolis, way down towards the Gulf of Mexico here, and ends back here in Mexico. South of Arizona and New Mexico is a big giant cluster of storms that worked through the southern Arizona and New Mexico area yesterday. Monsoon conditions down there, lots of rain. We'll talk more about that in the future, but really this big boundary here, this area of cloud cover that you see from Texas all the way up into Canada, is the main story of the weather today, okay? We're gonna have lots of scattered showers and thunderstorms associated with this today, all the way through the southeast into the Ohio Valley into the northeast. However, not much in the way of severe weather is expected today. If you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, all the way down to the Gulf states into Texas, expect some scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms. It's gonna be sunny, hot, and humid. All of a sudden, you see that dark cloud coming and boom, it's gonna rain, and it's probably gonna rain hard for a little while until it stops, and then the sun comes back out. That's the kind of situation that we're dealing with today through much of the U.S. And if you're behind this boundary back here in the Midwest, all the way up into the Great Plains, we are talking about some slightly cooler weather and dry weather. So we don't have anything to worry about up here today, but that's gonna change as we go into the future. So let's just get right into the weather models. All right, so here's a look at the North American model. We're looking at the 12-kilometer version, okay? So this is a much lower resolution model than what we usually look at for the short term. The HRRR and the 3-kilometer models don't show as far out as we need to show the next big threat, okay? So this composite reflectivity model here, the one that we usually look at to see what the radar could look like, it's gonna look a little bit different. It's gonna look a little bit less impressive and less detailed to you, but just know that that's because this is a lower resolution model. It's predicting further out into the future, and we're mainly looking for patterns here, and we're going to look at a lot more than just the reflectivity today to give you the full weather story so you can understand exactly what's going to happen and how strong these storms can be, okay? First of all, here we are at around 11 a.m. today. We're going to see all those scattered showers and storms popping up from New England all the way down into the Appalachian region, Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, all the way down into the deep south, and we might have a little bit of some stronger storms here in Texas, Louisiana, and southwestern Mississippi later today. As that boundary drapes off to the south just a little bit, it's not moving much, but it is trying to move south. And also, additionally, you can't see it very well here on the NAM model, but I forgot to mention that in Florida, we're also going to see some of those scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms, but some of those could actually be a little bit more severe and intense, especially on the western side of Florida. There's a little closed low coming through that's going to try to interact with some of that Gulf moisture, and near Tampa and Clearwater, some of those pop-up storms may actually have some big-time damaging wind gusts with them, okay? So, just be weather aware down there. But for the rest of us here, typical garden variety showers and thunderstorms, quick in nature. It's not going to be an all-day event as far as rain goes, and we're going to keep pushing this forward into motion. And as you can see, here we are on Tuesday. By the way, if you want to keep up with the date and time, it's up there. We're going to have pretty much the same story, but a lot of that moisture has moved off to the north, and we're mainly talking about those scattered storms up here in Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, and maybe northern parts of Alabama and Mississippi. All right, once again, nothing too crazy to worry about here. Some of those storms might be a little intense as they work through upstate New York during the overnight hours, or early morning hours there on Wednesday. But here we go, son. This right here is what the video's about. This is what we're watching. We've got a new disturbance moving in from the west. Okay, this is kind of like how our weather has been working this summer, and you know, it's pretty average for summer, where we've got this big ridge over here. We're dealing with the insane heat over here on the west coast. We've got a little bit of moisture working into that heat here in Arizona and New Mexico, creating some isolated flash flooding problems and severe weather problems. And then on the downside of that ridge here on in the Midwest through the plains, we see these low pressure systems and these pieces of energy slide down across that ridge and cause severe weather in this area right here, okay? And that's exactly what we're talking about once again with this storm system that we're watching. Wednesday, July 14th at 2 a.m., you can see that piece of energy is already starting to convect up some storms in Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, and Nebraska. Some of those storms could be strong, but what we're really going to be watching out for is as this moves east, this is going to protrude a warm front here and a little bit of a dry line. And along that dry line, we are going to see some big storms pop up here in South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa especially. And we are going to see the very, very good chance for some severe weather, okay? Now, we've got a low pressure system. We've got a lot of heat. We've got, you know, good dew points. We've got quite a bit of convective available potential energy out here. But the main driving factor behind why I think that this particular storm system up here in Minnesota, Iowa, and South Dakota and these areas is going to be so intense is because it's actually cooperating with a lower level jet stream that's just off the charts, okay? And this is something that we haven't seen since March, since the big tornado outbreaks we had down here in the deep south, you know, on March 25th and stuff like that. I haven't seen an actual low pressure system ejecting off to the east in combination with such a strong jet stream since then. So I think that this is like really one of the better tornado threats that we've had in a while here, okay? And it makes sense that it's happening this far north because, you know, that's what happens in the summer. Now, again, this is still 3 days out. Things can change, but I'm almost getting ready to lock it in and say that we are going to experience a very intense severe weather day up here with probably quite a few possibilities for tornadoes, okay? So let's look at that lower level jet stream. So you can watch this low pressure system come out of the Rocky Mountains here just in time to interact with this really nice piece of southerly flow going across the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas. It's going to pick that up and sort of take it with it as it goes over Iowa and Minnesota. And look at this, guys. We're talking about a lower level jet stream at the 850 millibar level, around 50 to 60 to some of the models are actually trying to show a little bit closer to 70 knots, okay? And that is literally happening at the same time of the deep convection that's going on along the dry line and in that warm sector of that low pressure system, okay? So this reminds me a lot of a spring system that we would see in the south where we would expect a lot of, you know, severe weather and tornadoes. So this is exactly what we're looking at here in Minnesota and Iowa. Once again, the placement of this low and the placement of the lower level jet stream and also the intensity of that has the ability to change over the next couple days. If it holds this pattern, we're going to be talking about a very significant threat for a lot of severe weather up here. If I move it one frame forward, here we are at 2 a.m. on Thursday. We're looking at that jet stream once again approaching 70 knots there as it moves towards Wisconsin. So the bad news is if you don't want to see tornadoes that is exactly what you don't want to see, okay? Now what we don't know and some of the things we have to watch as we go forward is once we start to see these storms pop up on our convective allowing models like the HRRR and the NAM, we're going to have a better idea of what the storm mode looks like. Remember guys, it's always important that if those CAPE levels are too high, if there's too much convective energy, too much moisture out there and just all kinds of storms pop up at once and we get a linear mode of storms or a squall line of storms that pops up, there's going to be a much lower tornado threat. But we do believe that there will be a little bit of a cap in place up here at this time, so those isolated supercells will be able to pop up. That's what it looks like right now. So here's what the convective energy is going to look like during the convective time frame of this storm system. Here we are at 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Wednesday, July 14th, and this right here, this little appendage of CAPE is exactly what we need in a situation like this where we're expecting big storms to form, especially there in Iowa. You can see there on the northwestern side, we're seeing some areas approach 5,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE. That's insane. Another thing that's interesting to note about this is the large area of convective available potential energy. That large area of fuel for the storms is kind of localized, okay? And if that can actually become actualized, that's going to help maybe some discrete supercells form, okay? If we had this big giant blob of purple here, maybe there would be too much convective energy and we'd have too many storms pop up that would take up all the energy and then not allow for these supercells to form. So I'm pretty concerned about this one, guys, okay? okay? I don't like to hype up stuff too much in the video, okay? I know that I have to do what YouTubers do in my titles and thumbnails. There's nothing I can do about that. But here in the video, I usually try to calm you down. I say, you know, hey, this isn't gonna be the end of the world and stuff like that. And that's true with this system too. But I want you to know that what we're looking at here is a little bit more serious than what we were looking at last week and the week before that, okay? So if you live in this area, from Minneapolis all the way down into Des Moines, really it's time now to go ahead and start, you know, getting your act together to prepare for severe weather. The number one thing you can do is get a NOAA weather radio, okay? And get some batteries for that thing, plug it up, because, you know, right now the NAM is showing that this is going to be taking place between 8 p.m., or maybe 5 p.m. through 8 p.m. and a little bit later. But as the, you know, the weather models shift around and stuff, this could actually be an event that takes place from 9 p.m. into midnight. And, you know, you want to go to sleep. It's Wednesday. You got to work on Thursday. I don't condone the staying up all night and just being paranoid about the weather. That's not something you should do. Sleep soundly and have you know weather radio plugged in. And if you get that tornado warning, it will wake you up. So hopefully this convective energy is overdone here on the NAM, and hopefully that lower level jet stream is overdone. And in tomorrow's video and the next video, we're going to be talking about something much less concerning looking. But as of right now, it does look like we're going to have a very significant severe weather outbreak out there on Wednesday into Thursday. And of course, that energy is going to move to the southeast as we go into the next day and the next day. And we might see some more severe weather in Illinois, Missouri, all the way down into the Ohio Valley. All right, let's take a look even further into the future here for the whole United States. Here we are on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Once again, we've got our severe weather maker up here in Iowa and Minnesota. We're going to watch that thing get out of here, and it's going to trail down a boundary once again that could cause severe weather the next day through the Great Lakes region and into maybe as far west as into Kansas there. And then that's going to dip down into the Ohio Valley on Friday and possibly cause some severe weather here from Missouri into Ohio. And remember, anytime we have a system like this in the summer, everybody underneath that boundary, down here in the southeast especially, all the way up into the mid-Atlantic, is just going to have daily shots of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms that are, you know, some of them could be pretty intense. So let's keep that going. And what's really interesting here is that boundary kind of gets hung up. Look at that. We're going through multiple days here, or multiple 12-hour periods anyways, and it's really not moving anywhere. And that is actually probably going to cause some problems down here in the deep south that could lead to flash flooding and just a lot of unwanted extra rainfall, okay? So you can see here there's a couple little disturbances that try to form along that boundary and move east. That might cause some more severe weather, but it's definitely going to cause some influx of Gulf moisture and a lot of rainfall down here as we go all the way through, you know, Wednesday, July 21st. And there you can see it. The bullseye here does look like it's going to be in Alabama and Georgia over the next week or so, where we could see, you know, 6, 7, 8 inches of rain in some areas, and some of that could fall in a very short period of time. So make sure you are prepared for, you know, the occasional isolated flash flooding incident in the southeast over the next couple of days. Another area that we're seeing a lot of new moisture here is in Arizona and New Mexico. That's right, it's that time of year. You guys are going to be seeing it. There's going to be a lot of isolated severe weather events going on down here, but for the most part, we're going to be seeing these scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up that drop a tremendous amount of rain in certain areas, and you know, in other areas it's going to be completely dry. But generally, from Phoenix all the way down into the border of Mexico there, especially on the southwestern portion of New Mexico, you guys are going to be expecting a lot of rain there, a lot of wind events too. Now, unfortunately, this moisture isn't making it as far north and west as it sometimes does, okay? Las Vegas into California, all the way up into the Pacific Northwest. You guys are expecting no rain at all, and that's just adding fuel to the fires, literally. It's wildfire season out there, so we're seeing a lot of fires. Another thing adding fuel to those fires are the temperatures over there on the West Coast. We're still expecting temperatures well into the triple digits, all the way up into Washington and Oregon, and especially down here in Southern California and into western regions of Arizona, okay? But you can see here where that moisture inflow is. We're seeing a little bit of a cool down here. But look, as we go all the way out here into Wednesday, July 21st, once again, we're still seeing the heat out here. It's a little bit less than what we had been seeing, but buddy, I'm telling you, it's going to be dry, it's going to be hot, and those wildfires are just going to continue to grow. We've got a lot of blazes out there currently, and the smoke is just going to be filling the air across much of the western U.S., and the air quality over here in Idaho Idaho, Washington, Oregon, northern portions of Nevada, Utah, through much of Wyoming, Montana. I mean, you see where the colors are mixing up at. We're going to see a lot of smoke in the air out here. And once again, I do think we're going to continue to see new fires and more smoke as we go later on into the week. And that's all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you slap that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn those notifications on. Also, if you want any weather merch, remember shop.helicity.co is still a thing. You can go get a cup like this with a radar image on it, or you can get a nice weather poster like that with a Doppler radar image of your favorite tornado event. They've got t-shirts, hoodies, I mean, all the, you've seen it. And if you use the discount code Ryan Hall, y'all, you'll get 5% off your whole order. So if you get a bunch of stuff, you're gonna be saving some good amount of money. And I don't think there's any other way to get a discount code over there. So you're welcome. All right, that's all I got for you. See you in the next one. Goodbye.